Yo, Cowboys Nation on Player's Choice, episode 12. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Doing
Chilling,
good.
man.
Chilling.
Hey, we're going to open up this stream. If you're in the comment section and you want to come on the stream, the link is going to be in the comment section. So if you want to hop on, if you want to get something off your chest, we're around. So, all right, let's get into this first topic. So the Cowboys played a game. Let me get this link up. Sorry about that. Forgot to put that in there. They played a game against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Now, we obviously know that the Carolina Panthers aren't a very good football team. But to me, right, it's all about week by week, right? Like, I'm not one of these fans that just say, Super Bowl, we're going to win the Super Bowl. You know, like, I'm not like that. The way I look at things is you take things by a week-by-week basis. What did we do from this game that we need to improve on going forward? What did we do in our past games that we have to do moving forward so that we can continue being a better football team? And to me, right, one thing that I liked that the Cowboys did this game was that they actually opened up their rushing attack. And I talked about it on my TikTok. You know, the one thing that I liked from Mike McCarthy is, you know, it doesn't have to be traditional get under center in an I formation and run the football through A gap, or it doesn't need to be, hey, shotgun run through A or B gap. You know, it doesn't have to be a run through the interior gaps. It can be, okay, you know, let's go 4 wide and have a tight end out there. Let's motion Kevontae Turpin. Let's get him out in space with a lineman in front of him. Let's do that. You know, so that was one thing that I really liked. I know people didn't like the Wildcat formation, and I 100% agree with them. They need to ditch those plays. But I do actually respect the fact that Mike McCarthy is trying new things out with this offense. Rue, what do you say?
Well, in regards to the Wildcat, man, if you're going to try it, you're going to try it against a team like the Panthers. You know, no better time to do it than then, especially when you've already built up a lead. But you're right, that play needs to be scrapped. They're not successful when they run it, and it just doesn't flow. It doesn't work like it should. And really, it was really short-lived when it was first introduced anyway. It made it like through half a season, and then, you know, people figured it out and people weren't doing it anymore. The run game is a concern, man. It's definitely a good thing to see what we saw from Tony Pollard last week, or, you know, just a couple days ago. It's definitely nice, you know, seeing him average 5 yards a carry again. He got the long break for the touchdown. Like, he had a good game. He had a solid game, and it's just something I'm hoping to see more of, because the run game has been an issue. And if you look back at the Eagles game, just looking at what they did last night, the difference between us and the Chiefs, you know, they could run the ball. We were not able to run the ball against them. And, you know, our offense is clearly better than what they were able to produce, especially with the fact that, you know, Chiefs receivers couldn't buy a catch that entire last night to save their life. But, you know, the biggest glaring difference to me was their run game. And for us, it's going to matter in these, you know, in these winter months, to December, January. That run game is going to play a big role in what we need to do. And it's nice to see that they're working on it, and I hope to see it improve.
Real quick before what's up, Sebastian? Before you take that, Jesse, one thing that I noticed with the Chiefs, what they were doing with the Eagles, were they were like, okay, we're not going to run on the interior where they have Carter and Cox and Davis. We're not going to do that. Let's attack these edges. Let's make these edge defenders, you know, get out and make a tackle. And, you know, I think they had some success with that. So that, you know, that's something that we're going to have to talk about going forward. But I digress. What were your thoughts, Jesse?
Well, I definitely need to think the run game needs to be a little bit better. Like, Tony Pollard, use him more. I think, let's see, Rico Dowdle is doing pretty good at the running as well. So
yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, this was definitely Tony Pollard's best game, like, no doubt about it, of the season.
Because he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. So yeah.
And you want to know what? That run that he had, I really liked it because it was a few things. It was, I thought, a good play call by Mike McCarthy, but I thought that they did a good job executing. There was the combo block from Biotic and Martin on number 99. There was a lead block from Lipke to the second level to the linebacker. And then I think that Tony Pollard did a really good job finishing that run as well. And that's one thing, that I've wanted to see from Tony Pollard this season is, let's do a better job finishing these runs and credit to him.
Let's not leave out that Terrence Steele block where he levels two guys at the same freaking time, lays them both the hell out. That was beautiful. Especially after the week he had. Forget it.
Yeah, what did you think about the game, Sebastian?
What's it called? The first half was a bit like shake. I actually got a little bit worried, honestly. Just the first, but they definitely cleaned it up come fourth quarter and stuff. But like you said, I'm really happy with Tony Pollard. I think this is gonna get him going. We'll see him against Washington. Yeah, I think that was his best game by far.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like when it comes to this offense, to me, that next stage is, there's a few things that this offense needs to do to really reach that level to where I say, it doesn't matter if you're on the road. It doesn't matter what defense you're playing. You can stand a chance against anybody. And that's, an adequate and efficient run game. It doesn't need to be a great run game, but if it's adequate and efficient, I'm perfectly fine with that. Getting Cooks more involved in the offense. They did that against the Giants. We'll see if they're going to continue to do that. They got Jake Ferguson more involved along with CD, getting him a bunch of targets as well. So Dak's playing at a very high level right now. Right now, he's actually the number 1 rated quarterback on PFF, which is, that's saying something. You mix in Dak playing really well with Mike McCarthy. Like to me right now, there are very few play callers and quarterbacks that have as good of a rapport as Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott do right now. I think the only one that I can really say for certain is Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. But just the level that these guys are on right now, Mike McCarthy is a play caller, Dak is a quarterback. If you can combine a good rushing attack with adding in those weapons and getting them more involved, this is an offense that I think I feel good against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the excuses everybody's making for everybody else, though. That's really what tickles me right now is just listening to everybody crawfish on everything, and it's like, just look at who's leading the league in turnovers this year. Look at all the names leading the league in turnovers this year. Look at the one guy who's been doing it for the last 2 seasons in a row. And it's just like, we keep making excuses. I don't know many number 1 receivers wanting to leave top 2, top 3 quarterbacks in the league. I don't know that many. I don't know that many guys complaining like that. I'm just saying.
This is what I will say. One thing that I think the Cowboys need to get a little better at is their 12 personnel sets. I've actually been completely underwhelmed with how they've been using their 2 tight end sets, because that's something that the Cowboys have been really good with, over the last 2 seasons. And, I thought that was a very fun wrinkle to their offense these last 2 seasons. And, they need to find a number 2 tight end on this roster. What is that, Luke Schoonmaker? I don't know. I mean, he had that nice touchdown down the seam. But he's been struggling a little bit this season. Is it Peyton Hendershot when he gets back from IR? If they can establish that's another thing with this offense. If they can establish a legitimate 12 personnel set, I think they'll be golden.
Have we come to the conclusion that Ferguson's going to be that dude though? Because I'm just saying, because I love what I'm seeing out of Ferguson. But Dak has leaned on his tight end a lot, and I feel like they keep pulling him out of these games. And it's like, okay, is it because we got leads and we're trying to give other guys opportunities, see what we can do, or I'm just trying to figure it out because with Ferguson, I feel like, man, he needs to be more involved, especially in those tighter nip tuck games. I want to see him on the field more because I feel like when he's called upon, man, he comes up with some pretty big damn catches.
Oh yeah.
Pretty big plays too, yeah.
Trust between him and
you were gonna say something before Rue, Sebastian.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, what did you guys think of Cooks for the past couple of weeks, I think he's been a really, really good piece.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly,
Oh yeah, I think especially against the Giants, he was incredible. But here's the thing: it was going to be hard to pass on the Panthers because they just lived in cover two shell the entire game. It's hard to pass against that look. So I'd even CeeDee Lamb, it was hard for him to get open and make noise in that game. So we'll see on that. The Panthers secondary.
That's probably the only strength on their defense is that
Yeah,
secondary.
That's what I was gonna finish with. Yeah, that secondary that's the best part of their defense. So they did a good job. That what's it, Troy Hill, number 13. God, that dude pissed me off, man. He was everywhere the other day.
I'm sorry. Did I say Cooks by accident? I meant Brooks.
Oh,
I think
Brooks.
Yeah.
Jalen Brooks, man, I love his game. I love his game so much. And not only that, like you look at, there was a play, I'm going to have to find it in my notes here, where Jalen Brooks does a very good job. Like he blocks Brian, I believe he blocks Brian Burns on this play. And Tony Pollard is able to get out on the perimeter. So, yeah,
CD. Yeah.
I think – I think Jalen Brooks is more of a guy that they're going to look to develop down the line, but I really like his game. And I love the receivers on this team. I think they have a lot of depth at receiver. And I know a lot of people wanted them to go out and get a receiver during this trade deadline, but I kind of thought, they had enough guys as it was. I mean, like I wouldn't have been upset if they would have added a Hunter Renfrow, but I just think that this wide receiver room is so deep, and I think you're starting to get to an NFL where wide receivers are just like pass rushers. Like you can't have enough of them.
Man, I got to tell you though, I got to disagree just a little bit, only because we're doing this against competition in terms of what we have to face in front of us, but it's definitely the weaker side of our competition. I would definitely like to see Brooks be involved more in these harder nip tuck games where you're going to see the better secondaries in this league. Can you show up in those big moments, and can you put up the numbers that you did, against the Giants at the end of the day? It's like, and I'm not expecting him to go 9 for 175 every single day. I mean, that's a great day. That's an unbelievable day. But if I can get 70, 80, 90 yards out of him consistently on a game-by-game basis as a true number 2, that's really what we need. Because this team is missing that, in my opinion, is a true, reliable number 2. If you look at every offense in this league, it's a very successful offense. They've got 2 solid weapons on each side of the ball. I mean, the only guy that's running around here without true weapons is probably Pat. Other than that, everybody's got a dynamic duo in their secondary, and I'm just like, man, who's that guy? Is that guy going to be Brandon Cooks? Because if it is, it needs to happen more consistently.
This is what I'll say though about that, right? Like Jalen Brooks, if they're going to activate him, like he'll play against the better teams because he's not afraid to do dirty work, right? Like if they have a run to the outside and they need a receiver to block, he'll block. Like he'll get in there and do that. And he plays special teams as well. So he's working his way up there. I like his game. We'll see where it goes. I'm not completely against drafting a receiver in this draft. I mean, God, if they got Roma Dunza from Washington, I mean, man, that kid's a problem. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I mean, look, ultimately my problem with the whole dialogue between, the Cowboys haven't beat a team with a winning record. Well, the 2 teams that they played with a winning record were Philly in Philly and San Francisco in San Francisco. Those were always going to be hard games to win. And not only that, they're going to face teams with a winning record. Like it's coming. They're going to play Seattle next week. They're going to play Philly the week after that. I think I don't know who they have out there.
Somebody needs to let Brandon know there's a lot of football left in this season still. Like you still got to go through the brunt of that schedule, baby.
Yo, Brandon, come into the stream.
You got to go through that schedule still, my dog.
This guy's a fire starter.
Go.
Let's see.
I believe our schedule is on Seattle. Then it's
Well, we got
Philly.
Washington this week.
It's Washington.
Then,
It's Washington.
Buffalo.
Then this week Washington, Seattle, and then it's Buffalo, I believe.
Yeah.
Brandon Katz is a big AJ Brown fan. He thinks AJ Brown's a top 3 receiver.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. Before you say anything about AJ Brown, I'm going to tell you this. I know he had a terrible stat line yesterday. I know he did. AJ Brown had one of the smartest plays on the damn field last night that I've ever seen somebody do in the moment. And if it's not for his leg grazing that DB's leg, I forget who who intercepted the ball. If it's not for his leg barely touching it, like I swear it was just his sock. Bro, AJ had the presence of mind to keep his composure, watch that ball get picked, watch that dude fall to the ground. Instead of wrapping him up, doing whatever, he waited until that dude stood up and then yanked that ball out from his ass. I thought that was one of the most impressive plays I've seen, just on the fly, presence of mind, smart football play. That's a great play. I know it didn't work out, but I'm telling you right now, his leg don't graze his leg. We're talking about that play, and they're not even close in that damn game. He yanking that ball out. They're going down to score. Like and that was an ugly pass. Like, damn, that was ugly as hell. But that was super impressive by AJ Brown. Unreal. Like, just presence of mind. That was beautiful.
Here we go. We got Brandon Katz in the building, the legend.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is a clear second-tier team in the NFC. Like, you talk about how Dallas was at San Francisco, so they weren't supposed to win. You got demolished by San Francisco. Man, the 49ers ran the train on you guys. They almost won by 100 points. And when you compare the Eagles roster to Dallas, okay, Dak and Hurts are basically on the same level. The Eagles O-line shits on the Cowboys O-line. The Eagles have better receivers. They have a better secondary. Trevon Diggs isn't even healthy.
You do not have a better secondary than us.
Better.
You do not have a better secondary. That is the most poorest secondary in the entire league. They're ranked at the bottom of the league.
The Eagles have a far better pass rush than Dallas as well. The only position group on the entire field where Dallas has an advantage against Philadelphia is at linebacking core because you have Micah. That's it. Your roster can't compete with Philadelphia. You are the Eagles' official bitch.
Oh, my goodness. Did you even watch that game? You didn't watch that game.
No, the Eagles aren't even playing that well right now.
Clearly didn't watch that game. The Eagles haven't been playing well all damn season. They've been winning by single-digit freaking they've been winning by one-possession games all year long. You're talking about recently. It's been all year. And the only thing they have to hang their hat on, they're 9-1. And I'll give you that. 9-1. And I can't say nothing about that. That's facts. But damn it, you're acting like they're just blowing people out the water, and they're not. And you're acting like they just blew us out the water, and they sure as hell fucking didn't. No way in hell. Bro, we hung in that building with them all day damn long.
Hey,
right, but you got blown out by San Francisco. You got
we laid an egg against San Francisco. Congratulations, you beat me in week 5 in your house.
Your O-line
it's one game out of the season.
Martin, other than Zach,
you know what though? Didn't San Francisco lose 3 straight after that? 3 straight.
Your roster's not remotely as good as Philadelphia.
No. Finish what you were going to say. You were going to talk about the offensive line. Finish that.
Yeah, the Eagles' offensive line is significantly better than Dallas's. Philly has 4 Pro Bowl players.
No.
Let me finish my point. Okay, so when Dallas has played Philadelphia, Micah Parsons has not gotten a single pressure. Forget about sacks. Micah Parsons hasn't gotten a single pressure on Hurts when he's going up against Lane Johnson. The Eagles' offensive line shits on yours. The Eagles' roster shits on yours.
We're just going to make stuff up now.
I'm not letting you lie, though. He had 2 sacks that last game. You're lying.
No, not against Lane Johnson. He didn't. And my point is that the Cowboys are not. The Cowboys O-line is not as good as the Eagles. It's not close. My point is the Eagles have. Here's the big difference between Philly and Dallas right now. Hurts is on a rookie contract, so the Eagles are far more cap space than Dallas. The Eagles, Howie Roseman makes better trades, and the Eagles have a better roster because Hurts is on a rookie deal.
I'm not letting you talk until you walk this back. You were going to say something about that offensive line, that they only have Zach Martin on that offensive line. Get back to that point because I want to hear what you're going to say.
No, that's not what I said. Is the Eagles have 4 Pro Bowl players on their offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line is significantly better than Dallas's. And my point is the big difference between the Delhi and Philly rosters is that Hurts is still. Let me finish. Let me finish. The big difference is Hurts is on a
you keep
rookie
repeating
deal
the same
for
thing.
1
Talking
more
about
year.
let me
So
finish.
the Eagles
Let
are
me finish.
operating
Let me
with
finish
almost
saying the
$40
same thing
million
again.
more in cap space than Dallas. Howie Roseman's a far better GM than
I'm not going to
what
let
you
you
have
get
in
off this,
Dallas.
though. So
Howie
finish what you're
Roseman
gonna
made
say,
trades
and
for
we'll come
AJ
back
Brown.
to
He
this.
made trades for Bird. Howie Roseman has significantly outmaneuvered the Dallas front office.
I'm gonna cook this
Roseman's
dude.
trades have built
I'm
this
gonna
Eagles
cook this
roster,
dude.
and it's much better than Dallas's.
Okay. This is what I want to do because I actually wrote this down. So you talked about all the acquisitions that the Eagles front office made. Okay, so let's go back to the 2022 NFL draft for the Cowboys. You know who their first round pick was for that draft?
No, I'm talking about the moves in total.
Yeah, these are moves though. Is a draft pick not a move?
Yeah, but I'm saying the Eagles front office has been better than the Dallas front office overall when you look at trades, free agent signings, and draft picks. You guys have drafted well, but you have not. Jerry Jones is a fucking cheap fuck. You guys do almost nothing in free agency every year.
He's cheap, but he paid his quarterback big time money.
Yeah, he had to pay his
CeeDee Lamb
quarterback.
big time
He
money.
had no choice.
Okay,
And he
what
didn't
about
pay Dak
Trayvon
for
Diggs?
years, so that's not a good point either. You guys
What
have
about
literally
Trayvon
not
Diggs?
made a single inconsequential trade in
What
almost
about
4
Amari
years.
Cooper a few years
I
ago?
mean, you added Brandon Cooks. That's the only significant free agent move you made recently. The Eagles traded for Bird. They traded for AJ Brown. Howie Roseman's making trades to make the roster significantly better every year. Jerry Jones is cheap as fuck. Your front office makes no trades. You guys draft well, but that's it. You do nothing in free agency. You do nothing with trades. You don't have a quarterback on a rookie deal like Hurts. Your roster is not competitive with Philadelphia's.
Okay, but I do want to get back to this because I want you to finish what you were going to say about this offensive line only having Zach Martin because that's what you were going to say.
No,
okay.
that's not what I said. I said, look, the Cowboys O-line is above average, but it's not close to being on the Eagles level.
Okay, so yeah, but you brought up that they only have Zach Martin.
Oh, that's not what I said.
You do know that Tyron Smith is probably playing the best offensive line out of anybody on the 2 offensive lines. He's let up.
No, he's not better than Lane Johnson. He's not.
Yes, when he's healthy,
no, he's not.
Yes, he is. Yes,
no,
he is. Lane Johnson let up a sack, and he plays right tackle.
Okay, Lane Johnson has given up fewer quarterback pressures or sacks than any offensive lineman in the entire NFL over the last 2 years. He's not playing better than Lane Johnson.
Yes, right now, yes, he is.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
He's not, and it's not relevant to the conversation anyways. My point is your roster is not your roster's not as close to as good as the Eagles.
Shut up, because I let you talk. Lane Johnson over these last 2 games.
You're wrong.
No, because I have facts here. You don't have facts on your side. I do. So over these last 2 games, Lane Johnson let up a sack against Dallas. He let up a sack against Kansas City. In total, he let up 7 total pressures over those last 2 games. Tyron Smith, I thought I had to pull it up.
But you have to adjust for strength of schedule and who teams are actually playing.
So the Eagles' defensive line all of a sudden isn't good anymore?
No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is that
let up a single pressure against them.
Okay, first of all, you're okay. Shut up. First of all, you're looking at a 2-game sample size. I'm talking full year.
You want to know what's funny? This is what's great.
You're looking at 2 games.
I'm the host and I get to mute you, so you're going to hear me talk.
Yeah, I'm talking about full season.
Yeah, over the full season this year, Tyron Smith hasn't let up a single sack, and he's let up 6 pressures. He played against the Jets. He played against San Fran. He played against the Chargers, who have a pretty good pass rush. He played against you guys, Philadelphia, who has a really good pass rush. He didn't let up a single pressure against Philadelphia. Let up 0 sacks this year. And Lane Johnson, offensive
line. First of all, it's 2 sacks for 0. The Eagles have played elite pass rushers, it's about run.
We haven't.
Too. The
And
Eagles
we
are
haven't.
far better run.
But we haven't. That's what I want to hear you say. So we haven't.
The Eagles.
So we haven't played elite pass rushers. So we haven't played elite pass rushers, is what you're telling me.
No, that's
We've
not what
basically
I
played
said.
the same damn schedule. Well, then what are you saying?
You haven't
Because
played
first
the
is
same
strength,
schedule.
first is strength of schedule, and then the numbers are a lie.
Okay.
So tell me
Who-
what
okay,
is it?
Let me ask you a
We're
question.
going through the
Let- okay,
numbers,
let
and
me
you're
ask you a
like
question.
denouncing the
No,
numbers.
let
It's
me
like I
ask you
just
a
showed you
question.
2 + 2 is
Who has a
4,
better running
and you're
game?
like, no, that shit's
Who has
6.
the better running game?
Philadelphia.
No,
Yes, you
You
don't
have
want
the
to
better
answer
running
it
game.
because I just
Congratulations.
told you. The Eagles have
Brandon.
a far better running game than Dallas. because the
Brandon,
Eagles' offensive
I'm
line's
not
far
done
better
yet.
than Dallas's. Pollard has been shit most of the season. You've had no running game.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah,
Lane
you've had no
Johnson
running
against
game
the
all year. The
Patriots.
Eagles have an elite running
Lane
game.
Johnson against the
Our
Patriots.
O-line's much better because the
Lane Johnson against the Patriots let up a sack that he didn't get credit for. He also let up a sack in the Dolphins game. He was literally fully engaged with somebody and he didn't get credited for a sack against him. So he's let up 4 sacks this season.
No,
Four.
that's not true. And you're looking
Yes,
at
it is.
individual plays. Again, the Eagles' offensive line is better
I'll pull
than
it
yours.
up.
The Eagles' running game completely shits on Dallas's. Your team has had no running game all year. The Eagles have one of the best rushing, are one of the best rushing teams in the NFL. Pollard's literally done jack shit running the ball most of the season. Your O-line gets no push and run blocking. The Eagles have the best rush blocking offensive line by far in the entire NFL. Again, your roster is not competitive with Philadelphia, and it's not that close either with Trevon Diggs out. Trevon Diggs out, you guys don't have close to the secondary the Eagles do either. Philadelphia.
That's for
That is just the most ridiculous thing. I have the leading,
Especially
bro.
Zach.
We have a guy.
Bro, we got an
Dak
all-
What
lit
are you
up that
even
second
talking
half.
about, bro?
Zach
We
lit
are
what,
still ranked at the
300
top of the league. You guys are ranked like
300
29th in the secondary. And you're
Zach
talking
lit
about my
300
secondary, bro? Darren Bland is
Yeah.
better than your number 1. Darren Bland
No,
is
he's
better than
not.
anybody you have in
I'll
your
take Bland
secondary.
over Slay. I'll take Bland over Slay.
And again, you're not
I
adjusting.
take Bland
you're
over
not-
Slay and your other dude.
Right, you're not adjusting for strength of schedule. The Eagles have
What are
played.
you
We had the
talking
same
about? You act like
schedule.
we
Like,
haven't
the Eagles have
played
the
anybody.
best quarterbacks, but the Eagles have
What
more
are you
talent in the
talking about?
secondary than Dallas. Philadelphia has Bradbury. They have Slay.
talent
and
is
they
it?
have
Bradbury's
Bird.
terrible.
Dallas
Bradbury's
has-
liability.
Dallas does not
Slay's
have
a liability. All I'm gonna
Philadelphia-
tell you about Slay is 3rd and motherfucking 30. That's all I'm gonna tell you about Slay.
No, he's not 30. He's 32, and he's still good. And Bradbury's
Ah,
good
you
as
didn't
well.
get it.
You don't even know what I'm
Have a
talking
more
about.
talented
You don't even know what I'm
secondary.
talking about.
And the other thing is Philadelphia just added Bird.
He knew
too.
what I, Sebastian knew what the
Philadelphia
hell
has
I'm talking
three
about.
Pro Bowl players in their secondary.
This dude.
You have 0 with Trevon Diggs out.
Hey man, you got something on
Yo,
your
what?
chin, bro.
So Deron Bland isn't an all-pro player? Deron Bland isn't an all-pro player?
Durant Bland's not going to be an all-pro player by the end of the year.
He's got 4 touchdowns. What are you talking about, bro?
He's not going to be all-pro by the end of the year.
Oh
The
wow!
other-
You want-
again,
oh
the
dude, I
point
wish
is
I
your
knew you.
roster
I
is
bet
not
you right
competitive.
now.
Your
I
roster
wish
is
I
not
knew you where
competitive
you were at, so I could
Eagles
bet you
roster.
right now.
You got
I'll put any
obliterated
amount of
by
money
San
on that. You
Francisco.
are ridiculous.
The Philadelphia Eagles will be favored when they play San Francisco. You got obliterated by the 49ers. Your roster
Are they
is
at
not
home?
competitive.
Are they at
Well,
home? Are they at home?
Were
Yes,
they favored
they are.
versus the
Yes,
Chiefs?
they are.
Okay, well, no wonder. I bet you it's going to be no more than 3, though.
Hey, you want to know what's funny? Deron
Bet
Bland
you it's
right
no
now.
more than 3.
Deron
might even be
Bland
2.5.
right
The Eagles will not get blown
Hey,
out by
hey,
any
shut up,
team
I'm
in the
talking.
NFL. The Eagles have the best roster in the NFL by far, and your
Come on,
roster's
man.
not.
And why do
gonna-
they barely win all their games?
Deron
And why do
Bland
they
is the
barely
number
win
one
all
rated-
their games?
Deron Bland is the number 1 rated cornerback by PFF. Just wanted to let you know that he's going to be an
no,
all.
Stop muting my fucking
Dude's got
mic like a
freaking
bitch.
4
Anyway,
tutties
winning
for the
is
year.
winning.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mute you because you keep talking over me. So I need to mute you to shut you up.
Yeah, I'll talk if I want to talk. You keep saying dumbass shit. Anyways, the Eagles
No,
roster
you're the
shits
one
on your
that's-
roster.
You don't like the truth.
This is
Okay,
retarded.
so my point is the Eagles are better at every position group than Dallas except linebacker.
They're not better at quarterback.
No, Hurts and Dak are comparable. There's not a significant when you look at what Hurts does as a runner, it's comparable.
How many picks has Hurt got?
Hurts does a lot as a runner and a passer, and Dak's had multiple bad games this year too.
He's had one bad game. He wasn't bad against Arizona.
He wasn't good against Arizona, and he was horrible against San Francisco. And
And
that was
Jalen
not
wasn't
good in the
horrible.
Arizona game.
Jalen wasn't horrible against the Jets.
No, every quarterback has bad games. I'm not saying
Now
Hurts
every
has
quarterback has bad games.
My point is
Only
my
ours
point is
can't
Hurts and
though.
Dak
Only
have
ours
been
can't have bad
comparable this
games.
year.
Only
Jalen's had more
Dak
bad
can't
games
have
than
bad
Dak.
games, guys.
No,
Jalen's
that's
had
not
more
what
bad
I
Dak's
said.
not allowed to have bad games.
I said
Too many
Hurts
people
and Dak
dependent
are
on him.
comparable. They're comparable. There's no clear advantage that either team has. And so Dallas has more talent than the Philadelphia team at one position group, one linebackers. That's it.
Our secondary is really good.
Yeah,
Our secondary
yeah,
is.
yeah, I'm not.
Y'all are
giving-
ranked at the
Secondary is
bottom
not
of the
more
league.
talented
Like we're
than
just
I'm not
making that up.
Philadelphia's.
People throw the ball on the Eagles at will.
I'm not giving you the
At
second.
will.
That's not true. The Eagles
They're
have had
ranked
a
at the bottom of the
couple bad
league.
games.
Chris, pull it up. For the love of God, this dude won't listen to reason. You're literally ranked at the bottom of the league in your secondary, and you're oblivious to it. Your
No.
front is actually your strength, which is hilarious that you don't even know what the
That's
fuck
not
you're
true.
talking about.
First of
If you
all,
didn't
the
have a
Eagles have
front,
been
you-
leading
Your
most of their
front is
games.
literally
So
your
they're
strength.
playing soft
You were right
zone.
when you were talking about your linemen
Again.
and your linebackers. You were spot on. You missed the fucking boat with your secondary. People
Eagles-
throw on you at will.
Eagles-
Sam
Philadelphia
Howell
added
put up
Bird,
400
too.
yards on your
Better.
ass. 400 yards on you. Dak threw for 375 on
Yeah, and he
you.
lost.
Your secondary is porous.
No, the Eagles. Look,
No.
you're confusing
Like it's all
two
just
issues.
made up. No.
So the
This-
Eagles have
this
Darius
dude's a
Slay,
freaking
James
clown,
Bradbury. They
man.
just added Bird.
This
The
is
Eagles have
annoying,
plenty of
bro.
talent in the
This is
secondary.
annoying.
The
This
quarterbacks
is
will
so
put up.
annoying.
Sam Howell's been leading the league in
Yeah,
in
yeah,
yards.
yeah,
Patrick
yeah, yeah,
Mahomes
yeah,
is who
yeah,
they
yeah.
played as well.
Yeah,
Philadelphia
yeah,
is a
yeah,
much
yeah.
more talented secondary
Yeah.
than yours.
Yeah.
Again,
We'll see
you
how
have
Sam
no
Howell does
argument
against
for the
us.
fact that
Brandon,
the
you're
Eagles have a
wrong
better
now.
secondary
You're
than
wrong.
Dallas.
Brandon, you're
just citing
literally
stats
wrong.
without adjusting for strength of schedule.
Dude, like
Philadelphia's
you
giving up a
literally
lot
don't know what you're talking about.
in the
Go
NFL.
pull up your ESPN fantasy app and tell me where Philadelphia ranks. Just
I
do
just-
it. Just for the shits and the
I
giggles.
just said
Go
the
pull
Eagles
it
are
up. And where are
giving
they
up-
ranked? 29th?
The Eagles are giving
29th?
up passing yards to the
29th?
best offense
29th?
in the NFL.
The secondary? Pull up any receiver playing against the Eagles. Tell me where they're ranked.
Okay.
Tell me where they're ranked. Any receiver playing up against the Eagles. Just pull it up on your ESPN fantasy app. If you even freaking play, they're 29th, no better than 28th, and you freaking
Right.
know it.
And
That's
they're-
why you're
and that
silent.
hasn't
That's why
stopped
you're
us from beating
silent
you-
right now.
From the
Hey,
Eagles
hey.
beating you and having a better record. But
Now
my
we're
point
on to
is
them
the Eagles
beating
have a
us.
far better
Now we're
and
on to
more
them
talented
beating us. Now
secondary
that you've
than Dallas.
accepted that your
The Eagles'
secondary is
secondary
porous
is far
and
more
made of
talented
tissue
than yours.
paper, now we're on to beating us.
Hey,
I love
Brandon,
how you changed the narrative.
Brandon, I have a
This
question.
dude's a real
No,
winner.
you changed the
Brandon,
narrative.
This dude's
no,
a
no,
real
no.
winner.
My point is Eagles
Brandon,
have a
Real
far more
winner.
talented
Right now?
secondary
You're a
than
Brandon,
Dallas.
winner,
you
buddy.
You had no
now?
argument,
You're a
so you
huge
said,
winner.
let's pull up stats, and you're not adjusting
Brandon,
for context.
You're telling me your
Brandon,
secondary's good. I'm telling you they're ranked at the bottom of the league, and you're telling me it's not true. When
Hey,
it
No,
is.
that's not what I
It's
said.
true.
No, Drew, hold up.
Right.
Hold
What
up.
I said is the Eagles have a more talented
Jesus
secondary
Christ.
than
You
Dallas.
switched
Brandon,
up,
you have
flip
no
flop. I don't even know
argument
how many
against that.
times,
And
bro.
then the other
You're
thing I
wasting my
said is
fucking
that
time.
If you look at the Eagles' passing yards they're giving up, it's been against the best passing offenses.
Can we get Charlie Brown off the fucking screen, please? This shit's giving me a goddamn headache.
Hey, Brandon, you see this
Because you
rep
got
right here?
cooked. Eagles
Hey,
are
You
better
are
than
fucking
Dallas.
full of shit. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Linebackers. The
Hey,
Eagles are
Brandon,
giving up meaningless
Brandon,
yards to the
Brandon,
top
hey,
passing
Brandon.
offenses in the NFL. It hasn't stopped them from winning
Literally
all
doesn't
year.
know.
The only game
Shit.
that, when you look at the Jets game, the game the Eagles lost to the Jets was
Telling
because of
numbers
first
and it's like,
interception.
oh, it's not
The
true.
passing yards the Eagles,
It's not true.
Hey, Brandon, you see this rep right here?
the
You see this
passing
rep
yards
right
have
here?
not
Hey,
cost
you
the
see
Eagles
this
a
rep
single
right
game.
here? This is Lane Johnson. This is Lane Johnson letting up a sack that he didn't get. He didn't
Okay.
get credited for.
Discuss
You see this? You see this
Right,
right here?
one sack
didn't
doesn't
get-
mean shit. The Eagles
didn't
have
get
one of the
credited
best
for
running
that
games
sack.
in the league, and your
What's
team
that?
can't
Oh,
even
what's
run the
that?
ball.
Wait.
What's
Show the
this?
Chiefs one.
What's oh no they credited him for that sack. What's this? This is him letting up a sack that he didn't get credited for. Why didn't he pick up that defensive end?
Yeah, he's not giving up a sack there. He's not even blocking. He's not even blocking that player. But again, the Eagles, you're not looking at run. You're not looking at run blocking. The Eagles have an elite running game, and your team can't even fucking run the ball. Lane Johnson is a run blocker. He's not just a pass protector. And the Eagles' offensive line in their running game completely shits on yours. Pollard has literally been unable to run the ball for you guys in almost every game this year because your O-line is ass at run blocking.
There's a little bit of truth in that. I won't lie to you there, but as I'll give you that. I'm taking back that secondary take that you said. There's no way that you can say that the Eagles secondary is better. There's just no way.
No, okay.
There's
It is
nothing to
better.
prove
The
that.
Eagles have far more
There's
talent in their
no,
secondary than
Brandon,
This
Brandon,
dude is
added
just
Bird, too.
oblivious.
No,
Oblivious.
Eagles-
get the
Show
fuck
you the
off.
numbers. Oh, it's not true. It's all fake.
Fuck off my stream.
That's
You don't let me
fucking. That shit's not true.
You don't let me talk. I'm trying to talk and you just keep talking over me. Get off my stream. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Switch it up every time.
Ridiculous. Yo, Brandon, you gonna let me talk, or you gonna keep talking over me? I'm gonna put you back on this stage. You talk over me one more time.
I'll
You're
do
not
what I
allowed
want,
back.
but I'm fine having a two-way conversation.
Okay. My question is this: how in the world can you say that the Eagles secondary is better than the Cowboys when literally the Cowboys have one of the best pass defenses in football? Like, you guys are ranked at the very bottom. We're ranked at the very top. And we played similar. We played common opponents. We played the Rams. We had success against them. You know, like, okay, I will give you this. We played you guys. We had success against your receivers. They played football teams and they've had a lot of success against them.
Yeah, so 2 points. The first is that when you look at the teams the Eagles have given up passing yards to, they have only been the top passing offenses for the most part. Number one. Number two, the Eagles and Dallas have not played the same schedule. Philadelphia has played Mahomes. Philadelphia has played better passing offenses than Dallas so far this year. But my main point is look at the talent. You guys don't have Trevon Diggs. He's out for the year. Bradbury, Slay.
You guys are literally ranked 32nd.
Okay, the Eagles have
32nd.
Bradbury, Slay, and they just added Kevin Bird as well. So with Trevon Diggs out, the Eagles have more talent in the secondary than Dallas.
Your
No,
secondary
no,
is literally ranked at the very bottom of the league. It's not even 29th. You're
you
at
don't have any
32.
all-pros on your
That's
secondary.
The Eagles are giving up yards when they have the lead.
Brandon,
It's not
quick
impacting
question.
them in terms of wins and
God.
losses.
Quick question. So you said that you're giving up yards to only the best passing offenses, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm not saying in every game.
Okay. You moved the goalpost there.
No, I
Matt-
didn't. I said
Dude,
I never said every offense.
Are we just going to pretend? Are we
no,
really
no,
just going to sit here and pretend?
Real, I got this. So tell me why Mac Jones threw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Mac Jones got benched against the Cowboys, a common opponent.
All right. Okay. No, that's a good game to talk about. Okay. So that was a game where the Eagles had a big lead early and they played soft zone and prevent because they were up big the whole game. And that was a mistake. The weakness of this Philadelphia, let me finish. The weakness of this Philadelphia team is their coordinators. The Eagles have 2 new coordinators. Brian Johnson, the Eagles offensive coordinator, never called plays before. But the Eagles had a big lead against the Patriots, so they played chicken shit soft zone and prevent defense. That's the only
What's the final score of that game? What's the final score of that game that they had that huge lead in? What was the final score of that game? Because I'm pretty sure they only won by a freaking possession, and they only won because Mac Jones is shit and couldn't freaking convert. Like, literally, that dude gets his toe down. We're having a very different conversation. You're probably 0-1 against the Patriots week 1.
No.
Like, are you freaking kidding me? Did you even watch the game?
The Eagles got conservative on offense.
Bro, against the Chiefs last night, if anybody had any kind of hands last night, the Chiefs freaking beat you. Like, hands down, flat out. If MVS catches the freaking ball, we're not even having this conversation.
Hey, Brandon, I have a question
the Chiefs
for you.
are one of the best teams in the NFL. That game was at Arrowhead, okay? And even if Philadelphia doesn't win that game, they were competitive. When you played San Francisco, you got obliterated.
And what happened when we played
better? They've been
Eagles?
better.
Hold up. What week are we in? We're in week, what, 12 now?
12, yeah, 12.
Are you, Brandon, answer me this question. Is the Cowboys offense not completely different in week 12 than it is in week 5?
Yeah, no, I think you guys have integrated Brandon Cooks. Your offense is better now.
Yes,
it's still not as good as the Eagles.
I mean,
that's funny. Then why did we outperform them when we played them? Why are all the numbers screaming Dallas victory in that game? Why are all the numbers screaming Dallas victory? You're telling me I held Jalen to like
the number
200 minus yards
You only had like 100 on the ground. That's literally all you had throughout the day. And bro, any one of those 3 fumbles goes the other way, we're having a very different conversation today. Did you even watch the game? Like, y'all were on the edge of your seat the entire game. We left you in this game the entire time.
Yeah,
and the fact is, we shut your offense down in the last 5 minutes, and you had a chance at 2 freaking possessions. And it's like, dude, we outstatted you in every part of the game. You snuck away with the victory, yeah, and I can't take that away from you. But, dude, you're acting like y'all are just heads and tails above us. And it's like, bro, what are you even watching? Your offense is fucking pedestrian compared to mine. And I don't even have the weapons you do. I don't have A.J. Brown and a Devonta Smith to pair up with. We were just talking about before your ass came on about getting a regular solid number 2. And even without it, we beat you at everything.
No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
you have the bigger names, but bro, the fact that you come on here and obviously don't know shit about your team when you're telling me your secondary is at the top of the league when you're ranked 30.
That's not what I said.
Let me
That's
bring
not
up
what
you
I said. I said
told me
the Eagles have
that's
more
the league.
talent in the secondary
That
than
was
you
not
do.
what you
You're
said.
just
Hold
fucking
up,
lying
hold
now.
up. Let Sebastian
Anyway,
talk.
okay, so
Let
let's talk
Sebastian
about
talk.
the
This
Brandon,
is such
let's
a waste of
let's
time,
compare
dude.
the rosters.
I got you.
Okay,
Brandon,
the Cowboys
no,
offense does
we're
not
not doing this. Let Sebastian talk. Let Sebastian talk.
Alright.
When you get unmuted,
Brandon,
let Sebastian talk.
Right. He just talked for 10 minutes. The Eagles have a far better
No.
I
offense,
haven't said
more
it's
balanced,
not
have
me,
a far better
moron.
running
There's 4 people on this fucking show.
All right, yeah, we're done.
Jesus Christ.
I say let a guest talk. And you just say, oh, no, we're not going to do. No, Sebastian, what were you going to say?
Of course, yeah. I was gonna bring something to Brandon's attention. Our defense, it hasn't really improved much. I mean, it has improved from last season, but do you remember what we did against Minnesota last season? To Kirk Cousins?
Jesus.
How did Kirk do against that secondary this year?
Well, yeah. I what an idiot. That's besides the point. Yeah, so got to come down from that high. Look, do the Eagles have a good roster? Yes, they have a really good roster. They're a great football team. Cowboys hung with them. If they're better in every aspect of the game, why did the 2 teams, when they played in Philly, might I add, it wasn't like they got boat raced in Dallas. No, like he's acting like they got boat raced in Dallas. They didn't. They played in Philly. It was a very competitive game, and Dallas should have won that game. But I mean, that's besides the point. It's water under the bridge. My problem is, don't sit up here and act like there's some stark difference between the 2 teams. I mean, as we saw when the game happened a few weeks ago, they got every break to go their way. Those 3 fumbles that you talked about, Ru, those were important things in the game. And they recovered every single one of those fumbles. So, I mean, look, salute to the Eagles. But what up, Ivan?
The 49ers defense are going to demolish the Eagles. I'm just saying it right now. It's not going to be a close game.
Your takes on the Eagles and Dallas game is trash. No, Brandon, your takes were trash because you're sitting up here saying that that you have all this talent everywhere on the field, but yet when we played, you only won by 5 points and you almost lost that game. That's the reality of the situation, Brandon. That was the reality of the game. If you're so much more talented, you want to know what? The Cowboys are way more talented than the Panthers. That's why they boat raced them. They're way more talented than the Giants were. That's why they boat raced them. If you're that much more talented than a team, you boat race them. When you play in that game, it's not even like the 2 teams should be on the same field together. What San Francisco did to us, credit to them. Credit to San Francisco because they boat raced us. It looked like we didn't even deserve to be on the same field as them. They get that over us. The Eagles? Hell no. Hell no. No.
And dude, I'm like fighting not to mention it, but man, let's not forget they had a little assistance in that fucking game too. I mean, a lot of it
Yeah.
from some zebras.
divisional games are always close, but I mean, when we played the Giants, it wasn't close.
Skulls and all that.
Because there was a big difference in talent when the two teams played. If there's such a big talent, the two teams shouldn't be on the same field, or you should win handily, just like how there was a big gap in talent in the 2021 Cowboys and the 2021 Eagles. And when they played in Dallas, what did Dallas do? Smack them around. Okay? That's what teams that have way more talent than another team do, even if it's a divisional game. Philly went up 28-17 at the end of the third quarter, and they went conservative on offense, and they played prevent defense. Stop with that. All these Philly fans talk about that.
Funny, that almost cost you the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. You almost lost the damn game. You say whatever the hell you want. Fact is, man, they came back on your ass quick, and it's because your secondary is fucking porous. Go look it up right now. Like, you need to just shut up, bro, because this secondary bullshit that you just keep on trying to spew is just the dumbest fucking shit. Your strength is up front. It's not in your secondary. Slay is not good, bro. It's time to retire. And the fact is, when y'all thought y'all were keeping homeboy that went over, I think he went to Jacksonville. Detroit, excuse me. When your boy went over to Detroit, that's when y'all's attitude changed on Slay, because before then it was time to let Slay go, let him out the pasture. And now he's still an eagle, and it's like, oh baby, fly on, baby, fly on. Y'all are so full of shit.
Chris,
all right, so
Brandon, Brandon brings up
no, you got it.
All right, Brandon brings up this whole deficit thing that the Philadelphia was up by a bunch of points. When it comes to us, what happens when we're up by a bunch of points? We keep tallying it. We don't
put them away.
We don't let one bit go.
And so I'm looking it up on PFF right now. Darius Slay is the 44th ranked corner to them, and James Bradbury is the 83rd. When you look at Deron Bland is the first ranked corner by PFF. Now you don't have to go 100% by the PFF grades. I understand that, but I think that there's something to be said when there's such a discrepancy between the grades. Like the 83rd, the 44th ranked corner is probably not better than the first ranked corner. Where's Gilmore ranked in this? Gilmore's the 37th ranked corner. So Bland and Gilmore are both ranked over Darius Slay, who's their number one ranked player on PFF. Again, it's not a perfect science, but I think there usually is something to be said. And the fact that he said that Lane Johnson is playing better than Tyron Smith this year when he let up 4 sacks and he's let up like 1 billion pressures this year. Meanwhile, Tyron Smith let up 0 sacks and 6 pressures in like 7 or 8 games this year. Yeah, no, there's really not a discussion. Tyron Smith is playing better than Lane Johnson is right now. Sorry.
Well, no, it's not even just that, bro. Tell me you don't know football without telling me you don't know football. 11 points. I still got 15 minutes left. You're telling me the game's over. They pumped the brakes and put everybody in second, like way back in the secondary. You are so full of it, dude. What are you even talking about? 11 points. It's 2 touchdowns. It's 2 touchdowns. You can literally get a touchdown, a field goal, and another field goal in that same quarter. Like, are you serious right now?
You could take the lead with 2 scores. You could take the lead with 2 scores.
And apparently 11 points is enough to consider it a blowout, and we're going to take off the gas. Like, tell me you don't know football without telling me you don't know fucking football. Your whole argument about that is just the dumbest shit ever.
Bradbury's not better than Bland.
Look at that comment.
And what's even funnier is if Bradbury's not better than Bland, then why hasn't he taken Slay's spot? Because Bland's covering the ones, baby. Bland's covering the harder receivers for us. Bland's on the stronger side for us. Why isn't your boy Bradbury? And not to mention, you talking about strength of schedule and everything else. What about strength of competition? Bland playing the ones. Your boy Bradbury ain't. And our boy's ranked number 1. Where's his boy ranked at? Probably somewhere on the bottom. And
you want to know what I find funny though in all this is that like he's every single time a team gets a lead and then they come back, it's we were conservative on offense and then we played prevent defense. Well, maybe you should stop doing that because you're on the verge of losing a lot of these games by doing that. So maybe that's not the best game plan. And hey, I got a question. Wasn't there another team last year that won a lot of close games, and they got a bunch of credit for it. That was the
Minnesota
Vikings. So just
I think they're 11.
And you want to know what I love? Everyone's like, oh, Philly's so great situationally, but they were so great situationally that they let a wide receiver 5 yards past their cornerback in that game. They're so great situationally that they almost handed the game to the Cowboys when they played last week. But
this dude doesn't know his team. This dude straight up doesn't know his team. You're going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that the Eagles' weakness is that they're conservative. Your coach is not conservative. What are you? This dude does not know his own team. You don't know your own team. Conservative, or is it the simple fact that you can't sustain your offense? Is that just the truth you can't admit to? That your offense doesn't look nearly as good as it did last year, that your offense looks very freaking pedestrian, that you straight up don't know what the fuck you're talking about, even with your own team. You're conservative. Your coach is one of the least conservative coaches in the entire league. What are you even talking about?
Yeah. Look, you want to know?
They don't play conservative.
Hey, you want to know what I find funny? They we had an 11-point lead. Well, you had a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl. What happened
there?
I'll wait. All right. So we're past that. Brandon, we're not entertaining his comments anymore.
Can I ask you guys something?
Bro.
Yeah. Something
This is not smart.
What's up,
Like at all.
Yeah. How do you guys think we match up against Washington, the quarterback that gives up the most sacks for the offensive line? Yeah.
You want to know what? I think Bieniemy does do some things. I'm gonna have to go over the tape to really get a great idea of it. But Bieniemy's a really good offensive coordinator, so that's something that the Cowboys do need to take into consideration.
Yeah,
I do think that the difference between, yes, the Commanders were able to move the ball on the Eagles, and the Cowboys and the Eagles pass rush are neck and neck with each other, no matter what Brandon says. But the difference is the Cowboys have a really good secondary and the Eagles don't. So I think that's going to be the difference between, the Commanders who had success against the Eagles and them having success against the Cowboys, is that the Cowboys have a really good secondary. It's not the same for the Eagles. So, to me, look, they do have some talent on the outside with McLaurin and Samuel and Jahan Dotson. So that's something to take into consideration. They have a quarterback who isn't afraid to push the ball down the field, but he does take a lot of sacks. And I think the Cowboys do need to take advantage of, the Sam Howell that they played last year was more of a conservative, I'm not trying to make any mistakes, so let me just run and execute the plays and let's just get out of this game. This year, it's a little bit different because he is taking risks. And I think that when you take a lot of risks against this defense and the ball hawks that they have in this secondary with the pass rush, that's going to make you speed up your processing. I think that does bode well for the Cowboys. I also think that they're going to have a field day on offense as well. The Washington Commanders, they have, I would say, the third best secondary in the division. The only secondary that's worse is probably the Eagles. I think that the Cowboys match up really well against the Commanders. I think they're going to win this game. I think they'll probably win it handily, and they'll go to 8-3. You got anything on that, Rick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I hate this game because it doesn't seem to matter what the records are in this game. This game is always just one of those games where you have to really pay attention to it because, it's historical, right? Undefeated Cowboys, 11-0, go into play the lowly 1-win Redskins, and lo and behold, man, they gonna get one. It's gonna be against us, right? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that their offensive line is going to be able to protect, and I think that they've thrown away their entire team. They got rid of Sweat, they got rid of Chase. These guys basically only have Sam Howell, and their weapons that you talked about, and their defensive side of the ball is not very good, and their O-line is straight just
I mean, porous. You said it yourself. He's the most sacked quarterback in the league. I think our boys up front should feast. I think Micah should have himself another day. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised for another Cowboys touchdown second week in a row somehow, some way. I really would expect something like that with all the pressure that Sam Howell's going to see. But I will say, man, I do respect Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell is actually a pretty good quarterback. I don't think he's that bad. I think he's actually a respectable quarterback, and I think he's somebody, you have to look out for, because I mean, at the end of the day, he put up 400 yards against the Eagles.
Yeah, but their secondary is not very good.
I mean, it's ranked 32nd, but I mean, who's counting?
I'm gonna keep giving him hell for that, man. I can't believe he said that.
Just tell me you don't know your own team without telling me you don't know your own team. It's super obvious when you start talking. It's just like, oh, the Eagles are conservative? Okay.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, right? My thing with the Cowboys this season was like, a lot of people gave them a lot of grief for the Cardinals and the 49ers game, and rightfully so. But I also don't think they took into consideration that this was a whole new offense that they put together. So, and this is why I give Mike McCarthy so much credit, because Mike McCarthy saw that his offense wasn't working. He put all this time and effort into, putting in the West Coast offense for the Cowboys, and it didn't work. And I think he realized that it didn't work for this specific team or the way that he was running the West Coast offense. And, he changed some things up. So, me personally, I give Mike McCarthy a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, man.
So closing thoughts for the episode. What do you got for me, Ro?
I want to see more run game. I want to see more run. I want to see more plays out of the backfield from Tony Pollard. And, I want to see more mix up. I want to see more of Rico Dowdle. Like, don't just rely on one, man. Let's go back to that system that we had with Zeke and Tony. Let's bring it back. Give Rico those opportunities, and let's see them really break open this offense, because regardless of what anybody has to say, we have two of the best pulling guards in this league, and Tyler Smith and Zach Martin, who have been playing lights out of their mind. And if we can figure out how to use these guys in the right way and scheme the right way, it should work out like it did, and like it has been. It's just, I think these guys need to split up their opportunities and get more reps between the both of them together. When it comes to Dak Prescott, just keep doing what you're doing, baby. Don't make any mistakes like you haven't been, and just control the offense. I don't need no glorious days, glamorous games. I don't need no I'd love to see another 300-yard day out of you, but at the end of the day, I just need you to do your job, keep the ball clean, and just win the game. Because this team, regardless of whatever's going on with them, the Commanders are what they are, and they always give us that little bit of grief. And it's like, I'm hoping that it's not one of those days, and I can, see Cooper by the middle of the third quarter. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and Dak does need to go off because I do have him on my fantasy team. It just feels a little different though, like going into these games, against lesser opponents. They're just like, look, we're gonna blow the doors off this team, and rightfully so. Final thoughts, Sebastian.
Gotta be relentless against that Washington team. They historically play as well on Thanksgiving, but yeah, I need that. I really hope our running game gets going, because I still have so much faith in Tony Pollard. He could honestly be a top 10 running back, but we just got to see what he was last season. I got faith. We can do it.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Jesse, I'm sorry that I didn't get to you much today. You got any final thoughts?
Yeah, just need to get Pollard and Rico more involved. I like to see those more explosive plays that we always see Pollard have. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like my final thoughts is this, just don't go in there and play with your food. I understand that the Commanders play you tough, but at the end of the day, you're the better football team. You're 7-3 for a reason, and they're 4-6 for a reason. You're the better coached football team. You have the better quarterback. You have the better offensive line. You have the better receivers. You have the better defensive line. You're better in the second level at linebacker. You're better in the secondary. Even though one thing I will give the Commanders secondary credit for is that they're definitely better than the Eagles secondary. So,
That's true.
Yeah. You're a better team all around. Like the way Brandon Katz talked about the Eagles being better than the Cowboys. That's the difference between you and the Commanders. So yeah, go in there, put this team away. Don't play with your food. Go in there and play with your food after your after this game. Play with your food after. Play with whatever you want after this game if you go and have a great. But just don't play with your food during the game. That would not be the best course of action. You sleep on this team, especially with the offensive talent that they do have. Granted, they haven't been able to put it together because they are missing some pretty critical parts there, and they have a good coordinator as well. So if you're not, on your P's and Q's, and I think they will be, it's a game that they get up for. This is a primetime game, no doubt about it. It's one of the most watched games all season, the Cowboys Thanksgiving game. So, that's going to be it for the episode, though, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
And Brandon, I appreciate you for coming out as well, even though you drove me crazy. Peace.
Peace.